And this morning, we have the privilege of being joined by Donald Fawkner, the Program Manager for Upside Youth, to talk about being Jesus with skin on in the community. So welcome, Donald. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So what does that look like? Because I know that this is one of your favourite expressions, but let's think about school holidays and what that looks like, being Jesus with skin on.
Yeah, so it comes back from the 90s when I used to be involved with a kids ministry program called Dynamite Bay, and the creator came up with that term, Jesus with skin on. And as a 17-year-old, it really spoke to me. It really resonated, and that we're actually an example in all we do to our community, our families, and our friends at school and the wider community we're in. And that's kind of stuck with me in the last 30 years. It's hard to say that when, 30 years ago I was 17. But I'll deal with the therapy later. But it's a case where I look at that in my life and how I want to impact the people around. And as a kids minister and as in my current role, that's really something I'm really passionate about, is encouraging people to be something more than just someone in that community. It's like, how do we represent Jesus to our neighbours, to our workplace, to our school community, in fact, everywhere we go?
Yeah, and I guess it can be as simple as you mentioned neighbours, like actually inviting your neighbour over and saying, hey, would your kids like to come over and have a play date with my kids? But I guess it can be challenging for people who kind of get stuck in their ways, right? Like, What would your encouragement be for Christians who kind of get, stuck in their patterns and their cliques?
Well, it's almost like, it's almost beyond a clique kind of thing. It's like we tend to, in society today, we tend to silo ourselves. We have people who believe the same, think the same, have same opinions, same views. And it's a challenging thing, quite confronting sometimes to reach out of that. And our streets now aren't, you buy a house and you stay there for a very, very, very long time. My parents are still in the first house they bought. Now we move a lot. So we don't have that same community feel. But that's also an opportunity, because everybody says, we need community. We learned with COVID. We desperately need to be around other people. Even introverts had to admit that, if they're honest. But we have this point where we an opportunity, especially with kids. Like I like going camping in summer, and it's a great thing. And you see kids, they just walk around and they'll look and they'll go, you're my age, you're doing something fun, I'll come over and join. So it's actually an amazing opportunity for the kids to have confidence to share with each other. And they've seen that kids playing in the neighbourhood, someone's got a trampoline, or like most houses today, you've got to put the trampoline if you've got a little bit of space in the front lawn, because they don't have much lawn anymore. So it's an opportunity to actually invite neighbours and invite friends, or invite people that you think, they're doing it a little bit hard at the moment. Let's be honest, school holidays can be quite stressful for parents. But it's an opportunity to actually, hey, here's a community, here's an opportunity to go in without like showing gratitude or kindness with strings. So it's not about, hey, come in. Oh, look, here's a tract about Jesus. Have you learned about Jesus? We trying to demystify or make it rational for people to know that, we're relational, we're actually human, we believe in God, but equally, we're normal. We breathe. We still like McDonald's occasionally. We eat plastic. But it's a point where we're actually engaging with people.
Maybe it's an opportunity too to be the person that says to someone who's another school parent, for example, a hardworking school parent that kind of struggles with the juggle of school holidays, and say, hey, I've got my kids at home. Would you like to just drop your kid off and do your thing? And I'll just, entertain them for a day.
Yeah, totally.
Now, Donna, we've just met, okay? So I'm covering today. I've come in at the last minute, and this is all new to me. Upside, youth mentoring. Can you tell us more about that? What is it all about?
Yeah, so Upside Youth Mentoring's about working with kids. It's an early intervention program. So rather than an ambulance at the bottom where we're dealing with kids who have, offenders and ram raiders and those kids that are at the very lowest of that point where they've had to deal with a lot of trauma. We work with kids that are sort of standing on the edge. Schools that we work with identify them and they bring them in, or to us, we talk about them and they get nominated to have a Upside mentor, and then we interview them, we interview the family, and we find a volunteer mentor that will walk beside them, not try to change them, not sort of deal with counselling issues like that, but literally just go for the simple things. To pick them up, go for a drive, go for a walk, walk the dog, go baking. Simple things just to actually engage as a community with that person.
So I'm like 58. My boys now have left school. Okay, they're kind of finding their own way, and I do miss my boys. I miss that kind of that father-son thing. So a guy, you kind of like people like me that kind of have got that love and that kind of time. Is that would be
absolutely.
a candidate?
Like our mentors range from university students to retirees. I had someone who's 72 start recently, and I like to say they're 72 going on 50. You know, this person's full of life. So anyone who's prepared to meet with a kid once a week and commit for a year, and the reason why we say a year is that's where research has shown it's the minimum amount of time for a vulnerable young person to actually have a meaningful impact on them.
Well, it's about relationship, right?
Yeah,
like we
totally.
see that you talked about Jesus with skin on, but Jesus was about building relationships with people. And I know there's an expression, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you were to speak life into a young person's world and want to encourage them and mentor them, that would have to come from a place of a built relationship.
Yep, exactly that. And young people are a little bit suspicious. You know, anxiety is so high in kids today. There's mental health issues everywhere, including in the mentors. In fact, one of the things that our mentors have talked about is that their feeling of self-worth has drastically improved because they're part of something that makes a difference. And that's it. And everyone has that longing. And whether it's in your neighbours, your community, as a family, it's they want to make a difference to other people and to feel part of something that's a solution.
Okay, so now if I'm interested in this, what steps do I need to take to do what you are offering here? What's the process?
Well, we've got basically what happens is you come forward, you send me an email at donald@upside.org.nz or go to our website to check out more, which is upside.org.nz. And then there's a link on there that you can click, and we then get in contact with you. We talk, we let you know what it's about, what you need to do, as in the expectations that we have. And just to get a general flow, we take a great care of our kids and also our mentors.
Yes.
We want to make sure it's a right fit.
Yeah.
Because it's really heartbreaking for the kids to pull away if the mentoring relationship doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we put a lot of effort to make sure we do training. We have mentor coordinators that rather than, here's a kid, we'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
We touch base regularly. We do interviews just to make sure you're doing all right. And we have some match events during the year.
Wow.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Donald, for shedding a bit of light into what it's like to be a youth mentor for Upside Youth and also the encouragement on being Jesus in our community. So if you'd like to find out more information, you can go to the website upsideyouth.org.nz. Actually, it's just Upside, right? upside.org.nz for more.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.